Welcome to our latest in the series of podcasts on the new release bulls from Showbox Sires, aired on the Dairy Voice. This is your host, Tim Abbott, bringing you information on our newest bull, 744HO17073 Hazard PP. This bull will be released immediately and will be available through your Select Sires or Worldwide Sires distributor. This bull is a bull that Mike and I have had on our radar screen for some time because breeders around the world are telling us a homozygous pole bull with certain traits will be extremely popular, and we couldn't be more happy to have our hands on this bull. So as we introduce this bull, I'd like to introduce my partner, Mike Duckett, in Showbox Sires, and let him tell you a little about the cow that's behind this bull. So welcome back to the podcast, Mike.
Good afternoon.
So tell us, Mike, a little bit about Hazard PP and how he came about and a little about his dam.
So a few years ago at the Canadian National Convention Spring Show, there was a young cow that I was watching the show online, and a beautiful, well-balanced 2-year-old won the 2-year-old class, and I looked her up, and she was a Moran that was polled and went back to Man Hughes' family. And a few minutes later, I got a phone call from Diane Borba that said, "Hey, would you house this 2-year-old I just bought?" And I said, "Did you buy the Moran?" And she said, "Yes." And that's when we just said, well, we'll just own her together. And she's lived here ever since. She gets off the trailer, and she's exactly what the pictures were, a beautiful, balanced dairy cow with a tremendous udder. And we worked her to Luster P, a bull that we felt was a bull that was a customer satisfaction bull from around the world. And we ended up with this homozygous polled bull that is a very balanced bull, lots of milk, nice type, and good health traits.
Well, and I want to go back to Hanley a little bit. And Mike, you're right. That I was at that show in Saskatchewan. It was the Canadian National Convention show. Tyler Dorian and Tom DeGroot found the cow earlier in the week. And by the time I got there, they had already bought the cow. As you said, Frank and Diane Borba, who maybe touched more great cows the past decade than most anyone, bought into the cow. And for Showbox Sires, we're fortunate she ended up at Duckett Holsteins. But that cow shocked the whole business. You know, there were some great young cows at this show, Mike, and this cow was named intermediate champion, I believe, of that great show that day, and just kind of set everybody back. But tell us how the cow's developed since she got to Rudolph, Wisconsin.
So she was a cow. She was pregnant and due just after Madison that year. So we've been working at getting her to calve around at the right times, and this year she has done that, and she's fresh now. Cow looks tremendous. She's developed incredible uddered cow, and we're going to be probably bringing her out at our state show in August. It'll be her first show, and then we'll be hopefully moving her to Madison this fall.
Well, it'll be good for our customers to see the dam of this bull. And again, I love the mating because this cow's got one of the best udders I've seen in recent times. And the Luster P's, you know, they're just these big, black, silky dairy cows or heifers and cows. As you said, Mike, customer satisfaction is his middle name. Boy, I remember the day we were at Select Sires and the boys brought him out in the show arena and led him around for us. I would say he was one of the prettiest bulls we saw that day.
Yeah, I think he's probably one of the best looking bulls I've ever seen. A bull that's just so stylish, and for a bull his size, he's got tremendous feet and legs, and it's something that going forward that all of us as breeders are going to need to watch.
And before we get into the numbers actually on this homozygous pole bull, we'll talk a little bit about the family. Of course, the dam that you've described so well is sired by Moran. We've got another connection with Moran now, Mike. Tell them about Moran's sister that you've got at Duckett Holsteins. It's a Showbox Sires cow.
So Macy's will be Moran's sister, a cow that we just showed at our spring show, Grand of the Red show, and turned around and showed against the black cows and won her class here recently at our national spring show. And a cow that's been in demand worldwide for embryos, and a cow that we bought here in partnership with Adolf Langout and Tim and Sharon 2 years ago at our last sale. So we're looking forward to scoring here at the end of the month, seeing if we can advance her score a little bit.
We look at, Mike, a lot, balancing the top side of the pedigree and the bottom side of the pedigree. I think with Moran and Luster thrown in there, and then you go the maternal line, certainly it looks like family is breeding extremely well, making big numbers. The dam behind the Moran was sired by Peak Hotline, kind of an interesting outcross, unique bull. And then a really nice, very good Rubicon. And then an Epic that was very good, 86. That was, I believe, at Lookout Holsteins. Cal McKimben's up in Quebec, Mike. You know a lot about the next dam, Man Hugh.
Man Hugh was Sebastian Dion bought her as a bred heifer, and she came here. We calved her in. She scored very good and was a beautiful young cow and went through Cell of Stars as a 2-year-old. We've actually got a lot of connections to both sides of this pedigree.
She's been, one of the great branches of that cow family. And so behind Hugh is a Shottle, a Goldwyn, a Champion, a Tesk, and then back to old Reagan Crestella. So it's quite a stack of great cows and great bulls in this homozygous bulls pedigree. Describe what the bull looks like on numbers. We wanted a homozygous pole bull that could be used in every herd. And I think this is one of the first ones that I think rounds the bases and will touch home plate. Tell them a little about the numbers of this bull.
Obviously, he's homozygous polled, a bull that's just a little over 1,000 pounds of milk, a big fat percentage, and he's slightly minus 0.5 on DPR, which is something we feel is very important. He's over 2 points of type and under 2 points of stature. Udder traits are just phenomenal. I would expect to get really good uddered cows with lots of milk and high fat percentages.
And boy, what more do people want? They want a lot of milk. They want a lot of fat. Cattle that'll breed back, and it appears, with his solid DPR that'll be the case. And his linear pattern just doesn't have hardly any holes. I think if you sort bulls out, Mike, by over 1,000 pounds of milk, respectable DPR, fat percentage that's nice plus, and over 2 points of type, and again homozygous polled and A2, it's really hard to find a bull that looks like him. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I think it would be hard to find a bull with all that, with two famous cow families, top and bottom cow families that's been at the top of the heap for years.
So we're sure excited to have him. We thank the Borbas for working with Showbox Sires to let us acquire this fun bull, and we're pleased to have him coming as our next release bull for Showbox. Mike, you want to leave any final thoughts on how to use this bull, what to watch for?
When I go to the semen tank, I'm always looking for bulls to use on the lambdas, the docks, and all the bulls that we're seeing so many great daughters from right now. And I think this bull would be one that you could go and use on a lot of those. He's going to add milk. He's going to give you good health traits. He's going to take their horns off, A2, just knowing the dam as hard as she works. And it says it right here in his proof, protect just a little on strength. I think he'd be a bull that he's going to put incredible udders. He's going to put milk, and that's exactly what we're looking for.
Well, thanks, Mike, for the information. It is neat how many different connections Duckett Holsteins has to this pedigree, all the way back to Man Hugh, through Macy and Moran, certainly through Luster, homozygous pole bull. I think it's so important for people that are looking for one less step in your management practices. Every single calf by this bull will have no horns, so that makes this pretty exciting. So the bull is going to be available through our Select Sires program. He will not be European eligible, but other than that, you can contact Select Sires or Worldwide Sires for your semen on this bull. And we thank you for joining this podcast of Showbox Sires series of the evolution of the great cow on our new release bull, Hazard PP.